it's your favorite dynamic duo, Marcus
Karmea Wells, the unorthodox Southern Belle.
and we are here on Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We are about to talk taxes, everybody's favorite topic. Got to give Uncle Sam, Uncle Cousin Trump his cut of the pie, and we got to give his shares. But we have a true tax professional on the show that's here to spill the tea on taxes and what you need to know going into 2025 and how to save money, how to make money the legal way. We ain't doing nothing illegal here. Um, but she's a tax professional that's not afraid to go to jail for you, for her. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Carmia, are you excited? I'm excited.
Yes, I am. Especially we're basically here in tax time, so let's get it.
Absolutely. I got people reaching out for their W-2s, boy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have coming to the stage Miss Tanya Akimenko. She has a love and passion for business, and she's truly on a powerful journey that pushes individuals to achieve beyond what they thought was possible. And one of those areas is business. Most business owners, however, tend to put accounting on the back burner. But she's here to express to us why it needs to be at the front. And so, without further ado, help us welcome to the stage the incredible Miss Tanya. welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. How are you, Miss Tanya?
Great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely excited to have you here. This is necessary. Taxes. We are jacking taxes up at a high rate of speed. And I don't think we've been right with taxes since COVID, right? Because we had an influx of cash. We had PPP money. We had stimulus money. Carmia, did you get any stimulus money or PPP money?
I got stimulus money. A lot of PPP people are put for prison. I got the stimulus. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Tanya, you are been in this industry. What are some common mistakes? We'll start with a softball. What are some common mistakes that you see as a tax and accounting professional that businesses make often in the business world?
I would say, and this might surprise you, the mistake that I often see is that people don't track their expenses, don't track their income. They just kind of winging it. They're more like a bank balance kind of business owner. Like, let's see how much money I have in my bank account. Oh, okay, I can buy something. Oh, okay, I can hire someone. Oh, never mind, don't have any money. So that's the number one mistake. And if you don't know your numbers, can't be successful. You don't know if you are successful.
Absolutely. So what is something I can do because it's a chore, right? It's an absolute nightmare to track my expenses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is going out to the restaurant, is this a business expense? Driving my car. Oh, I went to go get gas. I went on vacation, but we talked business. What are some things that should be tracked, and what are some things that should not be tracked as far as business expenses?
Actually, I created a quick little cheat sheet for you guys. And pretty much what you need to understand, is it a business expense or is it not? It all depends. It depends on your industry. It depends what you're using that expense for. As long as the expense is necessary, so meaning it's necessary for you to actually earn income. So you go into lunch, you're talking to somebody, you're networking, you're trying to find new customers. That's absolutely necessary. And ordinary. So is it like the same kind of service that other industry provides? So if you're like a retail shop and you're trying to buy a jet ski, telling me it's a business expense, that's not really going to fly because how are you going to use a jet ski for your store, right? So it needs to be necessary, ordinary, and it needs to have a business purpose. Like, what is the purpose of this expense for your business? And I did create a cheat sheet because a lot of times, a lot of people are afraid of the IRS. Like you said, it's a big Uncle Sam that there's just breathing down your neck, right, with a magnifying glass, trying to see what mistakes you made. But in all reality, if you have an actual business expense, if it's an expense in order for you to make money, it's a business expense. And I did create a cheat sheet that you can download for free, and it gives you kind of like an outside the box thinking. I only listed 10 There's lots of others, but it kind of gives you an idea of how to look at expenses and how to classify it if it's actually a business expense.
Love it. Love it. We love freebies. Love freebies. Get a hold of that cheat sheet, y'all. Get a hold of that cheat sheet. Download it. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing. We like free in business, don't we, Karmea?
Yes. Yes.
We
It's
like free.
expensive enough out here. Yes.
Absolutely. I know plenty of businesses that operate out of Cash App and PayPal. Is
Mm-hmm.
that a legit operating business account, Miss Tanya? Can I operate my business expenses and run my day-to-day operations out of Cash App and Zelle and Venmo?
Believe it or not, you actually can. Yeah. It
What?
works. It works like a bank account. So yeah, you can operate it out of Cash App and PayPal for sure. They have a whole business side. Yeah, and they have
Mm-hmm.
the annual forms that you need and everything. I don't recommend it, but you can.
So why? Why don't you recommend it? Can you give us
Um
some tea there?
So you need to keep your statements and documents and everything for at least 3 years. But what a lot of people don't realize is that your taxes are interlinked year to year. So you say you purchased an asset, say you bought a computer in 1 year, right? And then you depreciate it over 5 years. Well, now you need to have proof of that purchased computer from 5 years ago. And even if you're being audited in that year, now all of a sudden you need it actually from 5 years ago. And it's not actually not 3 years worth of statements. Now you need it again from 5 years ago. So you run into situations like that when you have a physical bank that you can go into, and specifically big banks that keep your data for like the last 7 years. It's much easier to get statements. Even if the account is closed, it's much easier. Versus with Cash App, I'm not even sure who you would contact to try to get a statement or something that happened from 5 years ago. So I definitely recommend, like I said, you can operate it out of Cash App. Just make sure you save everything, save every statements. Cash App does have statements, yes. Save all of those and PayPal as well. But what I recommend is always doing your day-to-day operations out of a big bank. So the biggest ones, of course, is Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. They're everywhere. They're connected everywhere. They keep your statements for 7 years. You don't even have to pay extra for them. And then your smaller ones is the local community bank where you're trying to get a loan, build inside the community. The bank wants to help you, things like that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
What about the new entrepreneur, the new business owner coming into business? Can you help me set up my business in the right way, tax wise? Can you help me do that?
Yeah, of course. So, as far as like tax wise, and you're going into it, starting a whole new thing,
Hmm.
I highly recommend just do the LLC. It's the
Mm.
most easiest thing, easiest way to set it up with the state. You already designated it, so you're not, you and your business is not one, it's legally separated now. But when it comes to taxes, the LLC can choose how it wants to be taxed because the IRS does not recognize an LLC, and that's where a lot of people are confused.
Hmm.
There is no LLC in taxes. You actually have to select how you're going to be taxed, and you can choose to be taxed as a sole proprietor, as a partnership, as a C corporation, or as an S corporation.
Can you do that for me? Can you set up the
Yeah,
LLC for me? Okay. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
of course. We set it up. Yeah, we don't just set it up and say, "Here you go, goodbye." No, we actually sit down with business owners and explain it to them. I had so many people come in, "Oh, I just used this online service. They opened my LLC." And then what? Like, what do I do then? What's my
What's the next step?
responsibilities? Yeah, there's not much training. Anyone can just go out there and set up a business. In fact, that's like what I argue with the IRS agents. It's like there's no requirement to take a class. You can just open up a business and there you go. The
Absolutely.
business owner didn't know.
So
Absolutely.
are you guys just strictly you only work for, or you only assisting certain states, or you're nationwide with your help
We're
with
ac-
taxes and accounting?
yeah, we're actually nationwide because I'm actually an IRS enrolled agent, which just means that my license on is on a federal level versus CPAs, they are state level licenses. So we actually work with all states. We try to avoid California for, other California reasons, but Otherwise, we're
Sorry, California. You're out the loop.
they that state has so many requirements. It's crazy. I don't know how anyone stays in business in
Mm.
California.
They
Mm.
don't. They leave and they go to Vegas.
But
But
every other state is good.
Okay.
check them out. Check her out. Good, great question, Carmia. Great question. We are living in an age where cryptocurrency is the new thing. Well, it's not the new thing. Cryptocurrency is here. It's been here for some time now. And so, how does cryptocurrency and crypto money work when it comes to taxes? Do I have to report my cryptocurrency in the traditional sense, or is that something that could just kind of stay in my vault that nobody knows about because I'm the only one with the passcode or the access key? Because I technically it's not earning me it well, it's earning
It's
money, but you don't really
yeah,
know about
that's
it. Like that's not reported to the IRS. Do you need to know as a tax professional that I have cryptocurrency $10,000 in block in Dogecoin tucked away
yeah,
somewhere?
I would like to know that myself because I'm into cryptocurrency myself, and I'm trying to figure out is it something that, yeah, well, personally, I've reported it in the past, but if I don't have to, just say something. Just
Carmia is in the underground. She
let
underground.
me say something, or is this conditional based off of something happening, like you actually cashing out, or please let me know.
Yes. So, the new elected president is promising that there's not going to be taxes on the crypto, but that's not the law yet. A lot of promises could be made, but not followed through. So as of right now, the only time you need to report it is when you cash it out. Now, with crypto, people, what they don't realize is when they purchase something, because crypto is getting so popular, like even QuickBooks offers you to be able to pay for some services who use QuickBooks in crypto. But people don't understand and realize that when you do use crypto for things like to purchase things, that's essentially you cashing out your crypto out. So that is a reportable transactions to the IRS.
I love that. I love
Mm.
that. Told y'all, it's Tanya on the Gentleman Style Podcast, spilling the tea, the tax secrets. Check her out. Huge, huge.
So, to verify, it does not have to be reported unless you cash out.
Correct.
Thank you for letting me know that. Go ahead, continue.
she she moving money. She moving money right now. she, she is stashing all the money. Babe, I need $50. Give me $50, right? She about to stash all of this. What about overseas money? Right? Do you help me? I got an inheritance. I came into some money. I'm a business owner. I came into some money, death in the family. I miss your grandma. I love you to death. Can you help me establish some overseas bank accounts, anything like that? Any kind of corporations? I've been watching a lot of Empire and a lot of a lot of what's the other one? Empire and Ghost, the one with Ghost in it. What's that movie? 50 Cent produced
Yeah,
it.
I know what show you're
Oh.
talking about. The title is not catching, but
Is
Yeah,
I know
that
what you're talking
billions
about.
or no?
it's a
Is
it's
that
a it's a gangster movie.
uh
Gangster,
It's a series. It's a show, a series. Because you
yeah.
got power.
Power. So,
okay.
mafia, they got money, bullion businesses, and they got money overseas. Are there anything you can help me with that, or absolutely not?
So I help you with stuff in the United States, even if you have stuff overseas. I don't set up overseas things. So, like a corporation overseas, I don't set that up. However, anything that needs to be reported, and yes, your overseas account needs to be reported. And some people might not know this, but it's not to the IRS, it's actually to FinCEN. If you ever have more than $10,000, so like you got an inheritance and now you have an account overseas, it does not matter where, even the Cayman Islands, the IRS, they still want to know. If you have an account overseas, and if it ever throughout the year reaches the equivalent of US dollars over $10,000, you actually need to file a FinCEN report, FinCEN 114, once a year.
Oh, they're so nosy.
You got to tell them. Hey, hey, she is
They are
absolutely
so.
spilling. You got to report it. You got to
You
report.
gotta report it, stay out of jail.
What is a can you share one or two tips on how to minimize my taxes on my money as a business owner, or maybe even personally? Are there any tips personally and any tips you can share for a business to save on paying all these taxes, right? Because the
Yes,
tax code is
so
riddled with it, right?
oh yeah. So as far as businesses, oh, I did want to come back to the overseas really quick. If
Sure.
you ever earn money overseas, so like you inherited a rental property and you're making money there now, you do have to report the earned income on the taxes. Sorry. But in general, FinCEN if you have money overseas. Okay, so back to your question on the business.
No problem.
On the business, I always recommend to buy assets. Assets lower your expenses, but keep your business value high. So you're looking to buy office furniture and one desk costs $150. Well, maybe you need a couple desks, or maybe you need another desk that's more like over $500, because now over $500 is now an asset and it's just reported differently on your tax return, but also on your business valuation as well, if you ever
Mm,
want to go and sell your business. So I recommend look into purchasing assets for the business.
Absolutely. And then
okay.
personally, any tips there that I can do to save? Besides starting a business, right? A lot of people have started businesses to save on their personal taxes and funnel it through that LLC. Many tips personally that an individual can do to save besides having a baby. Like, ooh, let me have more kids so I could get these huge tax credits. Any strategies there?
Yeah, I would recommend looking into real estate.
Mm,
The real estate is actually amazing because you get to claim the depreciation. So maybe you don't want
Mm,
to do a business because you have to be active in the business and things like that, but maybe possibly look into buying a rental property.
that's
mm.
real. I like that. I like that. I unfortunately have gotten out. Well, not unfortunately, but I have gotten out of the real estate business temporarily, um, doing some other business entrepreneurial ventures. But that's real. That's good. That's good. Buy property. Buy property. I encourage people to buy multiplexes, duplex, threeplex, fourplex. No more. I don't talk single family anymore. So that's good, solid advice, Miss Tanya. Good, solid advice. There's a stigma, right? I've heard numerous takes. What is your recommendation for someone starting a business? How many business accounts, checking accounts should I start with? Should I have an account for profits? Should I have an account for losses? Should I have an account for savings? Like, how many accounts should a business owner have to manage their business and operations effectively to start in the beginning? I know it gets
Yeah,
crazy later on, but how many accounts should I have as a business to operate?
I would recommend just start with one. Keep it
One?
simple for yourself. Yeah, maximum 2, and the second one is very, very not used much, just in case, kinda trying to save or put a money aside for taxes or, like, a rainy day. But I understand the whole thing, multiple accounts, which is kind of like the whole, if we're looking at budgets, kind of like the whole envelope system in the olden days where you get your paycheck and then you have envelopes like this so much for grocery, this so much for this so much for this. Kind of the same thing with bank accounts is what people use, and actually sounds like a profit first. I don't know if you've ever heard of profit first, but that's what they teach too, kind of multiple businesses, but it's an envelope system in all reality. Multiple accounts for businesses.
Mhm.
But I would highly recommend start simple, because if you complicate it too much too fast for yourself, it's going to be a headache. Then you're constantly moving money around. Then you accidentally pay it from one bank instead of the other bank. But focus on one account where all your transactions go through, and then have like a savings or actually a money market account. I don't recommend savings, recommend money market accounts. And then at the end of the month or whenever, just pull some money to this money market account to try to save some.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love that. Love that. Miss Tanya on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, spilling the tea on taxes and what you, we, me need to know and to do better and save more money in our business and personally. I love it. I like it. I really, really like it. We have, speaking of taxes, we got to pay some bills. We got to pay sponsors, y'all. Stay tuned. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, guys, this is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And we are here in Patrick Henry Mall, Newport News, Virginia. We're actually here for something unique just inside. Something new, brand new that we want to explore together. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Here we go. Hey, boss. Heard you were an athlete, man. See you at the mall every day. We are at Patrick Henry Mall, living up, and we are talking about CBD. But first off, the normal thing that we all deal with is joint pain, back pain, suffer from everything.
Neck pain too.
Neck pain? You got some neck pain?
All the time, man. I'm getting up in age, you know what I'm saying? We're not young no more.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Bruh, CBD helps with the exact same thing. Neck pain, back pain, joint pain, all the pains, everywhere pain, right? And so that's what CBD does. That's what we're here to help you and me do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
CBD is one of the most powerful cannabinoids because all it's focused on is the health and wellness. We're talking helping people with anxiety, depression, insomnia, sleep deprivation, all provided. CBD works with the natural mechanics of your body without the crazy side effects of Western medicine. So these products are here to actually align your body and get it back right so we can actually have a better quality of life. And that's what CBD does.
Baby Gear Services DMV specializes in high-quality baby gear rentals in the Maryland and DC metro area. We have a wide range of baby gear items for rent, including wooden cribs, car seats, high chairs, and more. We also offer seasonal specials and free delivery. Our prices are very versatile to cover every budget. Wooden cribs start at $17 a day, high chairs and even car seats start at $5 a day. Check out our website, www.bgsdmv.com.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have the incredible Miss Tanya Akimenko. Did I say that right?
You did, yes.
Nailed it. Love it. Miss Tanya, thank you for spilling the tea. She's here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, spilling the tea on what it is to be in business, but have your taxes and accounting set up the right way. And her organization, Golden Apple Agency, can help you start things off and help you maintain for the long-term duration. Miss Tanya, how did you come up with the name Golden Apple Agency? How did that come to be? That's a unique name. I don't know what it means. Is it biblical or what?
No, actually, golden apple stands for wisdom. There's actually, so I'm actually from Ukraine. I was born when it was still USSR, and my parents moved here when I was like in first grade. But there's like a folklore story where about golden apple, about an orchard of golden apple and how it gave you wisdom, and about this king that tried to hover all the wisdom and wouldn't allow anybody. And then his princess, his daughter, who was a princess, pretty much just destroyed the fence and let everybody have wisdom. So golden apple stands for wisdom, and you not only need knowledge when dealing with the IRS, you actually need wisdom.
Absolutely. And you are knocking down the fence and sharing the tea and not keeping it all to yourself like a tyrant. I love that. I really love that. I love the story behind that. You say your mom and your family came here and
Yeah,
that was okay. That's super dope. I
when
love
I
that.
was in first grade. So,
And
so long ago.
they shared that story with you, and you've been eating apples ever since.
I mean,
So
I guess, yeah, it was told to me when I was little, yeah. But I was like looking stuff up for I specifically wanted something to do with wisdom when I was naming my business, and like part of that was like remember the story, and yeah, Google helped helped me remember it and stuff. So I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Go ahead, Carmia. Yeah.
So with taxes and accounting, I'm pretty sure like with you, it sounds like you worked with IRS for quite some time before doing this now. Are you guys getting like natural updates after you leave still, or this is research that you're continuously doing to stay on top of what's going on and the codes and things that you got to put into the system to assist your clients?
Actually, I never worked for the IRS, always worked against them.
Oh,
So
oh, okay.
the IRS enrolled agent, that just means they control my education. So yes, every
Oh,
single year I have to pass tests, I have to take classes. Every single year, one of is the mandatory with the tax law update changes. So yes, those are mandatory,
That makes
gotcha.
constantly
sense.
Okay.
updating.
That makes sense. Great question. I wanted to stay in the realm of of business and separating things and keeping business and personal separate. How
Mhm.
should I be paying myself from my business? Do I should I pay my personal bills with my business account money? Do I just withdraw a couple $100s every now and again? Can I do that? Should I be writing checks to myself? Should I be considered an employee and pay myself a salary? What should I do to keep business and personal separate in business and not to get in an entanglement with the IRS?
Whew.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. And so many people struggle with it because when they start, they just use their personal account. But I definitely recommend to separate it, keep a separate business account and then the personal account. And then also, if you believe in credit cards and use credit cards, which you should get a credit card with cashback because cashback is not taxable income. But, anyways, so with the business, I know. With the business account, you can, when it comes to paying yourself, it's going to depend on how you are being taxed, in what entity you are. So it does not mean an LLC. It actually means how do you pay taxes on your business income. If you are a sole prop, your net income and you is one. That's your self-employment income. You pay self-employment taxes. So in that situation, you just write yourself a check. Same thing with a partnership. You pretty much just do a partnership distribution. You just write yourself a check. If you are in one of the corporations, S corporation or a C corporation, you should put yourself on payroll. Actually, will receive a W-2 from the corporation. But then for both of them, you can also do a shareholder distribution. So it's all going to depend on what entity you're filing your taxes in.
So I can so wait a minute. Wait. I just caught a stroke. So I can I get all three? Am I getting can I be considered an employee even though I own part of the business or 50-50 if it's a partnership? Or do I get a W-2 employee income, shareholder income, and distributions? Are those three separate checks I'm writing to myself or I'm just getting one lump sum and saying, "Hey, this is he's an employee. He just makes 100K a year as an employee."
Yes. So if it's a corporation, we got to look at how you're being taxed. Entity tax, meaning like an LLC, which
Okay.
ways you're being taxed. So if it's either one of those corporations, you're going to be an employee. That's a separate paycheck. But then you could also do the shareholder distribution. So that's a separate one. So you would just write a check out without the actual taxes being taken out, without being reported on the W-2. That's you taking money from your bases as a shareholder in your corporation. And then from the partnership, you won't be on payroll because a partnership at the end of the day, whatever is net income is split between the partners, and that's your like self-employment income. So you would just be taking yourself as a partnership distribution, so writing yourself a check. And then of course the sole prop is just writing yourself a check.
Okay. So I keep hearing check. Write yourself a check. You're not okay with me just dipping my hand in the account and just doing a transfer or withdrawal. I need
Oh,
to write
sorry.
myself
You can do that. I don't recommend withdrawing cash. Just transfer your money, Zelle yourself some money personally.
okay.
Avoid the cash system because you can't prove it.
Facts. Facts. Woo! We're getting to the tea, y'all. Getting to the tea. I love this. I love this. I wanted to stay in the same lane. I think more people don't realize I don't need a bookkeeper. Most businesses don't need a bookkeeper. They need a tax strategist, right? I need
Sure.
someone that's telling me in advance because I hear it all the time. I have a friend, she's doing everything, she's paying this tax professional, right? And they're keeping the books, they're reconciling all the things, she's sending in the receipts, XYZ. She does this all year. Tax season comes, the CPA, accountant, bookkeeper files the taxes and say, "Oh, you owe $20,000 to the IRS." You, to me, in my opinion, you knew this was coming. You knew I wasn't paying enough taxes. Why did you not tell me last year that I need to either pay more in taxes or I need to buy a vehicle to increase the equity in the business, but reduce my cash because now I have a business expense? Why did you not tell me this last year and let me take that face punch come tax season? Because I can't go backwards in time tax wise. So,
Right.
do you offer tax strategy like you suggested with buying the car or buying the company vehicle?
Yeah, so actually a lot of CPAs and accountants do that is because that's what we're taught. We're taught compliance. This is what we need to do. This is the rules. This is the deadlines that you all have to follow. And nobody is really teaching to take a step back and be like, well, how do I minimize taxes overall? Because I always say tax return is like a fingerprint. No two are alike. They might be similar, but no two are alike. No two situations are alike. And so it's kind of hard for some people to step out of the box and kind of think overall, how do I lower this customer's taxes? So when it comes to us doing just the bookkeeping, just you recording history is kind of like a disservice. What we focus on is if you have your bookkeeping with us, we do tax planning mid-year, and then we do business growth review once a year. And then if even if we don't do your bookkeeping and we just do your taxes, we never just do the tax return, hand it over, and be like, "Here you go, you owe $20,000." No, we actually review it with you and suggest changes that you need to make for next year to pay less or just be more in compliance so you don't pay penalties.
Thank God. Right? Because that actually happened to my friend. It was like they got slapped with a bill and, "Oh, you owe the IRS." And the CPA just walked off like you just said something profound. Like I should kill you, right? And so that's what I think. I'm glad you speak to this because I think more people need to hear it. You don't need a bookkeeper. You need a tax strategist, someone that's going to meet with you. How often do you recommend? Quarterly, monthly, weekly? How often should I be meeting with you as my tax professional to have those conversations about, hey, you're not we're not doing well over here. We need to do some make some moves here. We need to make some transitions. How often should I be meeting with you?
I would say it really depends on your budget because if you're a small business owner, you can't really afford those consultations, those
Oh damn.
business meetings. Do you know
Can't
what I
afford
mean?
me,
Like,
sir.
just not just me, but in general, like you don't want to pay somebody, who's not good. You want to find someone who is good, who knows what they're talking about. And if you're just starting out a kind of situation, not necessarily, I wouldn't say like quarterly or something, but definitely during your taxes when you're having them prepare, have that conversation looking forward to the following year. And then if you're growing, if your business is growing, if your business situation changed from last year, like you doubled your income, definitely at least once a year.
Absolutely. Have you ever fired a client?
I have, yes.
Why? Why did you fire? See the
So
controversy?
I always say like there's a lot of gray area when it comes to the IRS tax laws and things like that because some people interpret the tax law different and it's however you can prove how it affects you and your client. So I always say we know how to play in the gray area legally, but we will never cross the line. So I will never go to jail for a client. And because some clients, unfortunately, want to cross those lines, we do not. So we would disengage those clients.
Understood. Understood. I was trying to find y'all out, y'all. I was trying to look out for y'all. Oh my gosh! But hey, she's doing it the right way. She's doing
Mhm.
it. Her and her company is doing it the legal way, and so that's a part of that golden apple, right? Or else it'd be the black apple agency, right? It's the dark apple. I love this. I love this. We are in a gig economy, right? Where people are doing DoorDash like crazy. DoorDash, Uber
Yeah.
Eats, Pizza Hut delivery. Nothing against them. I used to do all three. Um, so how should I be paying taxes as a gig worker? How should I be properly paying taxes? I imagine it's just money on the side. I don't have a corporation. I'm not established, but a bigger entity is paying me, right? So
Right.
Uber is should be giving me something when it comes
Right.
tax season. So how should I be paying taxes properly? Because I'm getting paid from Uber, but I'm also putting a bunch of miles on my car. Can I write those off
Yeah,
as business expenses?
of course, 100%. So when it comes to food delivery or and gigs, things like that, you are going to receive a 1099, but that 1099 is going to be on your social security number instead of like a business with an EIN number. So you have to report it on a Schedule C. And basically, what you're reporting on a Schedule C is as if you have a business, even though logically per se you don't. But tax wise, they look at it as a business. So when that gets reported, then all business expenses are allowed. So your cell phone bill, if you have to buy an app or pay for an app with specific directions or something, how to get to people's houses or whatever, those can be deducted too. Your miles, 100% can be deducted. The miles that you use, not only to deliver, but drive in between. And most people don't even realize, like, if you're looking for an accountant and you have a consultation or whatever, that's deductible as well. If you buy books and learn about accounting and learn about taxes, that could be deductible as well. So pretty much when you're in the gig economy, even though you don't have like a actual business expenses still qualify.
Ooh, did not know that. Did not know that. See, we're not leaving you out in the cold. See, this is Gentleman Style Podcast. We guys are looking
Mhm.
out for everybody. We are on iHeartRadio, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Ghana Radio, radio.com, Facebook business page, and Audible. Wherever you get podcasts, we are there. And that's how you can get in touch with Miss Tanya Akimenko.
Yes.
Or anywhere you get podcasts. She is here on the Gentleman Style Podcast, spilling the tea. I've always been curious about this. Churches are nonprofits. How do you tax someone that's not supposed to make money? How does that work with a nonprofit? Can a nonprofit be a tax shelter?
Technically, yes. So specifically churches are like a by themselves standalone kind of a situation. The only time, yeah, they're not taxed, but yes, a nonprofit can be used as a tax strategy, but that really needs to be planned. It is definitely not a one size fits all. Sometimes it's better to do a private foundation versus a nonprofit, because of
What's the
different laws.
difference? What's one difference?
Okay, yeah, so a private foundation, you could technically use it as a tax shelter, and you only need to donate, I believe, 5% of it, of the total value, and keep it growing and growing. And it's a long-term strategy. And then once your kids are grown, the private foundation within itself makes money, and then you can hire your kids to basically direct those funds, or you hire yourself later.
Ooh.
So there's a couple different. So I wouldn't say a nonprofit is a kind of a blanket fits all. You might want to do a private foundation instead. There's other options as well. But a nonprofit is exactly that. It is for nonprofit. You don't make money. However, if you are actually performing services and get paid whether on a W-2 or a 1099, then the person who got paid from the nonprofit, now those funds are taxable.
Interesting. I had no idea. So y'all talk to her about. Do you do that as well? Do you do?
I do, yes.
Oh snap! Y'all heard it first. So a nonprofit, or what'd you call it, Miss Tanya?
private private foundation.
Private foundation. So if you like
That's
puppy,
what the that's what the Clinton have. They have a private foundation, and Chelsea works there part-time.
yeah. Who works there part time?
Their daughter Chelsea, right?
Oh,
Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah.
the one that didn't send money to Belize or whatever. Anyway,
We're
start.
not
So,
gonna talk about
yes,
anything else, just the little foundation part.
yes, ma'am. So nonprofits, private foundation, Miss Tanya and Golden Apple Agency can help you do both, y'all. They can help you do both and really, really square yourself away and really be off to a really great start, a legal start, because she ain't going to jail.
No.
She's not going to jail for
And
y'all.
I'm not gonna let the customer go to jail too, so
Love that.
it's a two-way street.
Love that.
There's way
You're about to say something? What?
I was gonna say there's way too many legal ways that you can, do it the right way than to do it the illegal way.
Love it. That's true. That's so true. Any tax changes that you see now that we have a new president in the office? Do you see any tax changes coming up that's unique? I think like a couple years ago is the whole big thing, right? A whole big movement when all these 1099s and all these
He changed
barbers
the
and
withholding tables.
he what?
When
Yeah.
he changed the withholding tables, people saw a definite change if they was used to getting, certain amounts back on tax returns. When he changed the withholding tables, which means you was getting more in your check that year, the previous year, whatever, that particular tax year that you're filing for. So when he changed the withholding tables, a lot of people caught themselves saying, I can't believe it. I've never owed federal anything, but they're saying that I owe them this year.
Right.
That's because they changed the withholding tables and you was getting more in your check to take home, but they wasn't taking that additional amount out as usual. So which means you had to go in if you work for someone with a W-2, you had to go in and actually, have it set that you take additional money out so that you wouldn't have to worry about owing the IRS back.
At the end of the year. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ooh. Miss Tanya, help me. I did not I did not know that.
Um,
How what was that? What does that mean for to prevent that? Right.
yeah, so basically back then he did make a lot of changes, but he
Oh,
um made the changes. There were more good changes for the business. A lot of businesses got opened, a lot of businesses got started and things like that. But on the personal side, yes, you got more money on your paycheck. And then if you didn't adjust your withholdings right away when the new withholdings came out, which if you work for a company, the HR person should have given you a new form, updated form. And if they didn't, then it would have just reverted to the old one. So yeah, a lot of people saw that they either got a less of a refund or they had to owe a little. But again, it was because they received more money through the year. However, with this year, just because he's promising a lot of things, it doesn't mean that they're all going to be the law. So I like to wait and see what actually law passes before we jump to conclusions. Like the biggest one I think is the virtual currency, where he says that you're not going to pay taxes on it overtime. Anybody working overtime, he says you're not going to pay taxes on it. But until it actually becomes law, it's just talk.
yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I forget that requirement that was up. It was like up one year, and then Texas suspended it temporarily because they kicked the bill back, and now it's back on. And now I forget what it's called. A business has to report.
Yeah, it's
Um,
called a beneficiaries owners,
what it
BOI.
what is that? Why was that such a big deal? What and what is it
Yeah,
now? Is it on? Is it off?
it's
Like
still paused right now. As of today, it's still a pause. I know they keep going back and forth, but remember when we talked about that form FinCEN 114?
Hmm.
So that's basically monitoring money laundering, laundering kind of situation on the federal level.
Mm,
And because you register your business with the state, not on the federal level, you do get an EIN with the IRS, but not all businesses are required to file a tax return. And not all businesses report who the beneficiaries of the businesses are. It's just the owners who are responsible for the taxes. So, what they wanted to do is compile a report on a federal level, basically, of all the businesses and who are benefiting from the business. So not even necessarily like a business owner, but somebody who benefits from that business, including like major key personnel. However, Texas said, "Hey, this is not this is against the rules." So right now it's paused, but we shall see what happens.
so what should I do? File it, not file it? Go ahead, Karmea. Sorry.
Well, being that I was afraid that I might miss the deadline, I went ahead and filed it. You do what you want to do, but if they come out the blue and say tomorrow, oh, it has to be filed in 15 days, I filed mine. You on your own. But that's a question I had. Was it bad that I went for it to file it prior, or should I have just had waited? Because at this point, they just know. They just know.
You know, like I would say half of our customers have already filed, half of them didn't, and we filed a lot of them back when it was a requirement. And then when it stopped being a requirement, we're like, hey, you're not required to file. Like, let's wait and see. In all reality, how I look at things, if they're gonna want to know something about you, they already know.
Right.
So if
Hmm.
they're trying to get this compiled report on a federal level, um, I think one way or another, they're probably going to get it. They might have to adjust the wording or whatever, to file it. But once you file it, you have to remember, and this is the most important part that is not really people don't even understand is once you file it, if anything changes, anything at all, you move, you add whatever a key employee, anything changes, you have 30 days to update that. Otherwise, you get a penalty, and the penalties are
Oh, God
ginormous.
help.
But people think you just file it and it's a one-time done, but it's not. Once you file it, you have to pretty much upkeep with it if anything changes. And like, who would remember that? It's like on the back burner. You personally move, you have to update that. Your business address changes, you have to update that.
Can I take it off?
No, once you file, it's done.
Can I take
Oh,
it back?
God.
Can I take it back, please?
They're moving as if I'm El Chapo out here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They
They're
want
trying to
Ah,
protect the country,
right.
There's good intentions behind it.
Do you feel it's good or ethically good for a business to lobby for tax breaks when you got big businesses saying, I paid, 15% in taxes this year, or I'm paying zero in taxes this year. Do you think it's ethically right for a business to lobby for tax breaks when they already get some money? I mean, like, you got the biggest guys in the country, right? You got people like Amazon, who at the time was Jeff Bezos. Now he stepped down, and there's new leadership in place. But he could literally write his own ticket. Hey, I'm bringing several of my factories to your area. Give me some tax breaks. Or you have people like Elon Musk who can say, I'm opening up a battery facility in your area. Give me tax breaks. Do you think that's right or ethically right in a business for a business to be able to basically push their weight around? I'm the big guy. Give me tax incentives to come and bring business to your city or state.
So that's like politics. I do try to avoid it because
Sorry,
no,
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. But how I see it, and this goes for everyone really, the country that you live in is basically a subscription that you pay, right? To
Right.
and then unfortunately, this is just the world that we live in. Who has more money has more say, right? And that's just unfortunate. And then if we do have somebody who's like a president or somebody in Congress, because Congress makes the final rules and accept it and stuff like that, who does look out for the small businesses, that's amazing, that's great. But usually, if they make something for available for big businesses, then they have to make something available for the smaller ones as well, you know? Small businesses have a lot of tax breaks that they don't realize that big businesses don't. And it's just a level scale. So if you break away the funds and look up percentage wise, right? So like a small business owner would pay 10% of the net. I'm just using round numbers as an example. This
No
is not,
problem.
not real. So if you look at a small business earning not so much money, and you look at step back and look on a big scale, let's say they pay 10% in taxes. Well, big businesses, they're usually paying like 45, 55% of their taxes, you know? So if you were to break it down, imagine if a small business owner had to pay that big percentage as the big business owner does. You know what I mean?
Be out
So,
of
but
business.
also, what? Yeah, they'd be out of business. Exactly. But I think for as far as like the lobbying and things like that, I think we have to look at it both ways. Yes, the business owner, the big name business owner who's bringing whatever millions jobs and things like that, they want tax credits. It's not to, and a lot of people might think, oh, it's to put it back, but no, it's to actually be able to hire people, be able to buy the property to, start a factory, whatever the situation is. That's what they want credits. They're not going to just give you a credit. The government's never going to give you a credit just for the person to put money back in their pocket. They'll give you a credit for hiring employees. They'll give you a credit for building in um, not desirable places to build offices or whatever. Those are the kind of credits that they'll still give. But also, isn't it better for the US? Like US is now looking at more jobs, more, you know, creating more jobs and things like that. So I feel like it goes both ways. Do I think it's fair? Probably not, because again, we live in an unfair world. The bigger your pocket is, the bigger voice you have, right?
Right, right.
But I do think it goes both ways. And I do think people need to look on the percentage scale versus money scale, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Absolutely. So the whole reason Carmia and I wanted to invite you on is it happens time and time again. Businesses ignore their bookkeepers, they ignore their CPAs, and they don't even have an established CPA or bookkeeper or accountant in place at all. So, how can ignoring bookkeeping and accounting lead to business failure and why?
I would say the most thing is like business owners don't know if they're profitable. No one goes into business thinking, you know what, I'm just going to work 24/7, not see my family, just sacrifice myself, sacrifice my time and not make any income. Nobody says that. Everyone goes into business to create a better life for themselves, for their family. But if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know how much something is actually costing you, you don't know how much to charge. So a lot of times what I find out once we kind of look at budgets and things like that, I was going to use big accounting words, but things like pl-
Mhm.
planning and budgeting, I think those are good words. Once you look at those numbers with the business owner and the business owner kind of understands, they're like, oh, okay, I actually need to adjust it. Or they might be providing multiple services and they think one service is giving they're getting more money. But once you break down the cost, they're like, oh my goodness, this is actually not profitable at all. I should not offer this. And surprisingly, this brings in more net profit. So I
Mhm.
think finances is the heartbeat of every single business. So you got to focus on that. You got to make sure your heartbeat is pumping.
For sure. For sure. That's true. That's a good point. I am a fan of Shark Tank. And one of the things that Kevin O'Leary, he's my guy, right? That's my shark. Is he always talks about know your numbers, right? Don't come in here pitching me saying you want 50,000, 100,000, $500,000 from me and you don't know your numbers. And I'll one episode that really stuck out to me is this lady, she came in and she made these seasonal stickies, right? So for like Christmas time, she would have these stickies that you could place throughout the house for your kids, and it'd be reindeer feet. Or she'd make little pasties that you can stick around the house to give the house more of a or Easter. right? The Easter bunny. Hey, the Easter bunny was here, and she could stick little Easter bunny feet around the house to give the implication to the kids that the Easter bunny was here and he's roaming around the house, and there's
Oh.
this psycho rabbit on the loose, right? And so the shark, Kevin O'Leary, asks, okay, which one of these products is your best seller? And so she thought about that and she's like, well, Easter, no one really buys. Valentine's, I get some sales, but Christmas and Thanksgiving were her big sellers. And so because Kevin O'Leary made her uncover her numbers, she realized she doesn't need a whole product line of every single holiday. She just needs to sell these three products.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
that's knowing your numbers.
nothing tells you, nothing tells you that by knowing your numbers. If I got 9 products, that's a lot of inventory. But if I just sell these 3 and I can and these are my top sellers, I don't need the other 6.
Yeah.
And so that's significant. And so you can, hey, Marcus, we don't need all of this. We don't need coffee mugs. We don't need keychains. We don't need t-shirts. This gentleman style podcast pen is your top seller. Just sell the pen, right? That's where you're making the most margin. That's where you're making the biggest bang for your buck. And that's where you should be executing your time. Do you help with any trademarking or protecting a brand or anything like that? Any of that?
No, that's like lawyer stuff. That's attorney.
Makes sense. That's fair. This has been a fantastic episode. I love this. What do you think, Ms. Karmea? Did you enjoy this? I really enjoyed it.
I definitely did, especially being, my own entity and being in business for myself. It's something that, you're learning more information on, so you can make sure you can stay out the slammer and also keep building as you're going.
So true. Don't go in jail. Stay out of jail, y'all. Stay out of jail.
Please. Absolutely. They're building new ones every day. Don't do it.
Oh my God. You're so true. So true. Miss Tanya, you've shared so many nuggets this episode, so many tips, so many strategies, and so much mindset. If you had one more nugget in the hat to give to that young entrepreneur, that young girl, that young boy who wants to take the leap of faith, but they're scared that they're going to end up in the slammer, what would you say to that young boy watching you right now, that young girl watching you right now, and say to them as one final nugget?
I would say realize early that this financial decisions are emotional and never logical, and understand how you make those financial decisions, how your emotions play a part in it. And once you realize that, and simplify it for yourself and get our cheat sheet so you know what's deductible, and then you're good to go.
And how can people find you? How can people connect with you?
Just on our website, goldenappleagencyinc.com. We also have Instagram, Facebook. They can connect with me personally on LinkedIn. We're everywhere.
Check her out. Check it out, y'all. The ship has left the station, but it's not too late to get on board. They are absolutely necessary. And we need this. We need this moving forward. We need this into a new tax season, new tax year, because we have new leadership in office. So you need to be compliant for sure. But we should have always been compliant. We got to let this incredible woman go. She has a company to run and many more businesses to save and keep out the slammer. So, and like we end every show, Ms. Karmea, you got any feedback, any advice for our audience?
If you did that BOI report like I did, and you make any updates, make sure they're done within 30 days. Because I really wish I could just recall all of that like an email. I kid you not. But in all seriousness, you guys, if you're in business for yourself or thinking about going in business for yourself, take all this information in hand and never stop learning. Never stop being a sponge, because you're going to need it all plus more. And as the world changes, things will change and things will update. So stay on top of it.
Facts. Hashtag facts. Big facts. All right, we got to let these incredible people go. Like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is your favorite gentleman, Marcus, and
Karmea Wells, the unorthodox Southern Belle.
And the incredible Miss
Tanya Akimenko.
Love it, love it, love it. Love you guys. Bye.